So welcome to our 6th group coaching session, and appreciate you taking the time out today. I know it's toward the end of June. We're all getting into kind of summery mode, but today we're going to do, I think, some things you'll find really helpful and exciting. So it'll be worth the hour of your afternoon. We'll start with our disclaimer. This presentation was produced under U.S. Department of Education contract number ED ESE 15A 0015/0006 with Synergy Enterprises, Inc. The views expressed herein do not necessarily represent the positions or policies of the U.S. Department of Education. No official endorsement by the U.S. Department of Education of any product, commodity, service, or enterprise mentioned herein is intended or should be inferred. So we have a shorter agenda this time, but trust me, it is packed full of information. We're going to talk about some different options for you to be able to record videos, whether you want to use them with your students, your families, your staff. And then we'll talk about specifically Animoto and how I think that might be beneficial for you, and have a little time for questions too. So let's jump right in. I want to talk about 3 different options that I think are pretty easy to use, so nice and user-friendly. They're all available for free, which is always the right price point, and are really useful. I think you can produce some things that would actually be beneficial for your classroom or, again, for families or staff. So we're going to talk about Screencastify, Screencast-O-Matic, and Zoom, and how you can use those 3 different products for making videos. Now, I'm curious, I'm going to stop share just long enough because we have a small group so I can see all of you. So as we're looking at this, give me a thumbs up if you've ever used Screencastify. All right, I see Judy has Screencastified. All right, what about thumbs up if you've tried out Screencast-O-Matic? Okay, Lisa's tried that one. So we're gonna have one person for each one. You're gonna be our resident peer expert for each one. So Judy's our Screencastify lady. Lisa's our Screencast-O-Matic. And then how many of you have recorded on Zoom? Oh, Charlene. See, I told you we're gonna have one person for each. So Charlene is our peer expert for Zoom. All right, so you know who your folks are. So let me jump back in. I'm gonna kind of share with you how I think each of them are best utilized. All right. So as we think about Screencastify, the first one, I think that is really good when you're trying to show someone, whether, again, a student or a staff member, how to work a particular technology tool. So maybe you want to show them how to log in on your Google Classroom or your Schoolology classroom. If you're trying to show them how to use a particular tool online, I think this can be really useful because it's short videos, they can hear you talking, and they can see what it is you're doing really clearly. It'll even like highlight your cursor if you want, where every time you click, it'll show really bold where you clicked. Now, a limitation is you can only do a video for 5 minutes on the free version. So like with anything, there are paid versions of all these products, but the free version, you can do these 5-minute videos. Now you can do as many 5-minute videos as you want, but again, if you're just trying to show someone how to use a website or a tool, 5 minutes is just about right, and often shorter. You can make your videos where you show up as the teacher, or you can make it where they can't see you, because I know we don't always want to be screen ready in all of our videos. So you can put yourself in there or not. You can also just record just yourself. The other nice thing that it has that's a little bit different than the others is you can do on-screen annotation. So if you want to draw a circle around something to draw attention, you can do that right on the screen and it'll record in your video. It also has a built-in editor. So you're not going to be able to make, a motion picture full of fanciness, but you will be able to do some basic editing. You can cut out chunks. So if you wanted to cut out this middle part where you coughed, you can do that. If you want to trim off the end where you couldn't get it to click and stop your recording, and so you have 30 seconds of silence on the end, you can cut that off. So it's a really easy to use basic editor. And then the final thing that it'll let you do is you can separate your audio files from your video files. And so some of you were asking about, well, what if I want to record just my voice and maybe add it to a PowerPoint, or just my voice so students can hear how to pronounce new vocabulary words? You can do that. So you just record and tell it you want it to download just the audio. I'm going to show you what that looks like. So let me take you over and show you how you Screencastify. So you can now see my internet window here, right? Everybody can see the internet window? All right. So if I'm in my Screencastify, you can see I made a bunch of videos for our last group coaching session. So all of those videos that you saw last time that we were together were made with Screencastify. And you can save them, you can download them to your computer, you can put them in your Google Drive, and they're all there. Now, if I want to make a Screencastify though, it's actually an extension that you can add to your Chrome browser. So see this little pink arrow up here? That is my Screencastify button. So all I have to do is click it, and it's going to open it up. It's going to ask me, do I want to record just my browser, so just what I'm doing on the internet right there? Do I want to record my desktop? Now remember, if you record your desktop, it's going to show everything on your computer screen. So I just like to always kind of keep aware of what might show up on my computer screen that I don't want in my video.
Yeah.
I want the whole thing. And then last option would be webcam only. If I do webcam only, the only thing it's going to record is me. So you're only going to see me. So that's if you want to do just something where maybe you're putting out a talk, or you're sharing a little message with your students, maybe a welcome back to the school year message. So you have any of those three options to do. So let's say that I want to record just my browser tab. I hit record. And okay, I want you to notice, did you hear that? The boom, boom,
Mm-hmm.
bink. So the boom, boom, bink is your warning. The boom, boom is like, get yourself ready, I'm about to record. And then when it does the bink, you're recording. The other way you can tell you're recording, other than what I find most helpful, the audio cue, is if you see up here in my window on my browser, see this little rectangle right here? That means I'm recording and it's showing everything on this browser. Now, the nice thing about that is if I go over to other tabs, or even if I open up a new tab, it's still recording it. It's still getting that. Then all I have to do is when I feel like I'm done recording, poke my button again and hit stop. And now you see it automatically is going to open up for me where it just put my recording. And it's just that simple. You just made a recording. Now you can listen to it. We're not going to listen to it because you were part of it. You already know what happened. But you can listen to it and decide, oh, didn't love it, not great. Then just trash it and do it again. That's totally fine. But maybe it's just, okay, that part at the beginning, that didn't work out. You grab these scissors, you see the scissors there, and you drag the scissors to where you want. And it'll cut that off for you. You hit save trim, and it does warn you, I'm really going to trim your video. You can't take this back. And then all of a sudden you have a nicely trimmed video. Now it'll save all of these in your Screencastify until you're ready to delete them or use them for things. The other thing is you can immediately share from here really easily. So if you're using Google Classroom, you can share it directly to your classroom, or maybe you're doing YouTube videos for your students, you can share it directly there. It does have some other options. The one that you might be using a lot though is this download. Okay, so this is where you can download it and then you can do whatever you want with it. You can put it into your PowerPoint. You can put it on your school website, whatever you need it for. But when you download it, you have to decide, do you want it to be an MP4, which basically is just a nice way of saying video, or do you want just the audio? So this is what I was talking about, where you can record something and just use it as an audio file. And then you can always get fancy and make a GIF. But we're not quite on that one today. So that's how you can use your Screencastify. It's super easy to use, but remember, this is going to be for 5-minute videos on the free account. All right, questions on Screencastify? Feeling good about that one? Okay, so let's go back to looking at Screencast-O-Matic. So Screencast-O-Matic is a little bit different. It has a fun name, and it can be used for a little bit longer. So on the free account for this, you can use it for 15 minutes. And let's be honest, how many times are we making much longer than a 15-minute video unless we're doing like a full class lesson? So 15 minutes is pretty user-friendly as far as length. So it's great for those mini lessons, those introductions. Just like with the others, you can make yourself visible on screen or not. It's up to you. Now, one of the features it has, so Screencastify had that on-screen annotation that's unique to it. The Screencast-O-Matic, unique to it is you can zoom. So you can actually zoom in on something while you're recording. So that's a little different. The other thing that's different is you don't have as many editing options, again, in the free one. So there is a paid version where you pay an annual fee. I think it's $18. But in the free one, you can trim the beginning and the end. So again, sometimes there's that part where you didn't really realize you were recording, so you want to trim off a little on either side. But that's the only editing you can do in the free one. What you can do, though, is always download it and edit it in another way if you need to or want to. But in general, most of our basic editing is just trimming the ends anyway. So this one is only for video files, so you can't do an audio only recording in the free version, which is fine. And you'll notice there's a watermark, and let me show you what I mean by that. So here is a recording that I did using Screencast-O-Matic. And notice that there's a watermark down in the bottom left corner. It says recorded with Screencast-O-Matic. And that'll be on there because it's a free account, but you'll notice it's very small. It's not very distracting. Now, Screencast-O-Matic is an online product, but keep in mind you will have to download the recorder onto your computer. So Screencastify is entirely online. Screencast-O-Matic, you'll actually have to download that onto your computer, but you'll use it through your web browser. So let's go over and look at what that looks like. It's another one that's very user-friendly. All right. So my mouse is missing an action. There we go. All right, so I'm going to close Screencastify. So we've already looked at it for now. And here's kind of the opening page when you log into Screencast-O-Matic. So as you look at it, the important buttons are up here in the top right corner. You have capture a screenshot. So if you just want to take a picture of your screen, it'll do that for you. But we're really in it for recording. So all you do when you're ready is hit that little camera button. It gives you fair warning, it's loading, it's getting ready to record. And then it'll say, okay, it has launched. And then it should bring up, oh, let me unshare. With the presentation showing, it's covering up what you need to see. Right now, you should be able to see what it would look like. All right. Okay, here we go. Well, in true technological fashion, it's loading very slowly for us. All right, well, we may come back and let this keep loading, but when you click this, it launches a recorder over in this corner of your screen, and you press a red button and it will start recording. But I don't want you to have to wait while it's loading, so we'll let it keep working and we'll look at our other one. So our third option that we're going to talk about is actually using Zoom to do your recording. So the nice thing about using Zoom for recording is you could do much longer recordings. So if you do want to record a full lesson, you can do that. You know, right now, educators don't even have any type of time limit on your recording, but I did include here for your note the 45 minutes because typically it's 45 minutes and I don't know at what point it's going to go back to that. So just so that you can be aware. Now with it, just like with the others, you can make yourself visible or not. And I'm going to show you how to do that because with this one, it's not something you pre-select. It's something you'll do during your recording. The one thing with Zoom is there's not a built-in editing option because it's not meant as specifically a video recorder. So any editing you would do would be outside of the actual Zoom product. But it does give you the separate audio and video files. So when you record a session, it automatically saves it as a video file and also as an audio file. So that way you have both of them available to you. There won't be any watermarks on your video. And you can use it either through the online Zoom product or you can download Zoom onto your computer. I find that if I download Zoom onto my computer, it just goes smoother. It seems to operate better, but that's just kind of my personal experience with that. So let me show you how you would go about using Zoom for a recording and how you would toggle on or off you showing up. Now, here's the thing to remember with this video. So I'm going to play you a video of how to use Zoom to record yourself doing a lesson, but I recorded the video using Screencast-O-Matic. So you're getting a little of each. You can see what the video would look like if you recorded something with Screencast-O-Matic, but we're learning how to use Zoom. All right. Let's take a look at how you can record using Zoom. And I'm going to show you two particular things. So if you're going to be recording a lesson, we're going to want to share some content, most likely maybe a PowerPoint. So you're going to go up and share. Make sure you're just sharing whatever it is you want them to see, which would be my PowerPoint. Now I'm going to pause it for 1 second. Have y'all noticed that every time I click somewhere, there's a big yellow circle? Kind of be on the lookout for that, because that's one of the features of the Screencast-O-Matic recording is that it can show exactly where you're clicking if you want people to understand. And that's a feature you can turn on and off. But if you're doing something like this, where I'm trying to show you where to click to do something, it can be really helpful. All right, we'll jump back in. Let's take a look at how you can record using Zoom. And I'm going to show you two particular things. So if you're going to be recording a lesson, we're going to want to share some content, most likely maybe a PowerPoint. So you're going to go up and share. Make sure you're just sharing whatever it is you want them to see, which would be my PowerPoint. So you'll see I'm sharing that there. And since I have my video turned off, all they can see is my actual PowerPoint. So this is perfect for if you just want them to see whatever content you're sharing and you don't necessarily want to show yourself. So they'll still be able to see the content, they'd still be able to hear you in the video. Now, if you want them to be able to see you, if you want to be able to provide that kind of face-to-face teacher in your video, just go up to the options and start your video, and you'll see now your image is going to be over in the corner, and you can move yourself wherever you find a good spot. And if you make yourself small, it would still say you're talking, but that really doesn't work well for the recording. So keep yourself big if you want to be able to show yourself, or if you want yourself to go away, instead of using that minimize, just go over and stop your video and it entirely disappears. All right, any questions about using Zoom for recording? You got that one down? All right, you can see, you can put yourself in there, or if you're not feeling very camera-ish that day, you can take yourself right back out. All right, so let's go back to what we were discussing about our video recording options. So we looked at Screencastify. Remember, that's the one that we looked at first that you use within your actual browser, and is for those shorter 5-minute videos or just audio recording, short audio recordings. And then now we looked at Zoom, Zoom being our longest video recording option. We can show ourselves or not, and you still have the option of video or just audio. Now we'll try one more time to get, we'll see if Screencast-O-Matic has gotten itself open yet. It may be outside the bandwidth possibilities today. If so, I'll record a little video of that and share it with you separately. But let's give it a whirl. All right. Acting like it's gonna do it. Yeah, I think, unfortunately, it may be outside the bandwidth options today. So, like I said, I will record just a short video specifically on the Screencast-O-Matic, but the basic just being, you'll click that, and normally when it comes up, it eventually actually shows you the recorder down in the bottom left. You press the red button, and just like with Screencastify, you just record, 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 and then press the stop button when you are done. Now, the big thing with this one being, again, with the editing, you're just going to be able to trim either end, and then you can download it and do whatever you'd like with it. So those are kind of the 3 basic options that I would suggest for creating your videos. They're pretty user-friendly, and it's really easy to go back and re-record if it's something that just didn't turn out the way that you like. So now that we've tried those for all of our basic needs, I feel like it's time for us to get a little fancy, because some of you have already said you're starting to record some basic videos, but it can be nice to be able to put together something just a little fancier, but in a very easy way. Because our 2 qualifications for getting to be part of this is that you have to be user-friendly and you have to be free. So this is going to be something very user-friendly that we can utilize to make some fancier styles of videos. So I want you to see an example. The example that we're going to look at is a video that was used by a teacher to provide to families, students, and their adult family members kind of an overview of what's going to happen in the next week. So they consider this their classroom newsletter. So take a peek at what this looks like. All right, so you can see it's only about a minute video, but I'm going to unshare so I can see all of you. We're going to do another poll. You can use your thumb if you're on camera. If you're not on camera, go to the bottom of the screen where it says reactions, and there's a thumb up there that you can use. How many of you feel like if I said, go forth this afternoon and for your homework, make a video similar to this? How many of you feel ready to make a video similar to this? All right, I've got about one thumb. I've got a lot of like no thumbs or medium thumbs, but not of like I'm ready to make the video. That's okay. I'm going to show you a super easy way to make something like this, and you're going to feel very fancy, and everyone will think, oh my goodness, they are so tech savvy. They've got these fabulous videos, and you'll be laughing in the background knowing it was so easy to do. So let's jump back in. We are going to use a tool. Oh, it wants to play you the video again. We're going to use a tool called Animoto. So it's another product with a fun name. So Animoto lets you create customized animated videos. You can do it totally from scratch, or also show you how to use some templates that already exist that even make it easier. You can do like the one that we saw where there's no narration, or you could actually narrate it. So maybe it's going through the video and you're actually talking during it. Or maybe your students are talking during it. Within it, it has lots of royalty-free images that you can use, because I know when I'm making presentations or I'm making videos, I can often spend a lot of time trying to find images that I'm allowed to use that aren't copyrighted. Well, this already has them in there, and you can just search within them and not have to worry about infringing on copyright. It also has some of those music files like you just heard, or you can upload your own music. So if you have maybe a traditional song that you'd like to use as the background music, you can just upload it and use that. You can make as many videos as you want. It's a totally online program. But again, because it's a free program, you'll see that the videos you create will have a little Animoto watermark down at the bottom. But I don't think you'll see that that'll be very bothersome. So let's go over and check out Animoto. I'm going to turn off Screencast-O-Matic since it didn't want to play nicely with us. And we're going to go to the regular Animoto page. So once you sign in, you'll be right here. This is what the free account looks like when you very first sign in. And you can go to any of your videos there, but you're going to start out by creating. You want to create a new video. All right, so now that we're here, it's going to recommend some things for you as far as templates. And you can scroll through and look at what those might be. You can also go through and look at different types of templates about what might be useful. But let's say we want to put together some assignment instructions for a big project. So I'll head over there, turn off the preview. So when you click on a template, it's going to give you this preview to where you can look at how the template is set up. And if you like it, then you choose it. So we're going to choose that particular template. And it gets it all ready for you. A lot of times it'll give you these little tips and hints while it's getting everything set up. And then voila, you've got your template together. And you can even see that right now, if you leave everything as is, it's going to be a 38-second video, which for assignment instructions makes sense. But again, you can make these much longer. So how do you do this? What do I do now? Well, what you do now is start customizing this template for your activity, for whatever you're giving directions for. So you can come to this first piece here, and you'll notice as soon as I hover my mouse over, see, everything was grayed out. Once I put my mouse on it, it gives me a preview of what that slide does. Down here, you'll see the 4S means that that content plays for 4 seconds. The little microphone is where I can click it and actually record my voice. So if you wanted to record a little tidbit for that slide, you'll use that. The text, if I click there, I can change it. So maybe it's not how to create your video book report. Maybe we want the how-to, but we want it to be how to create a voice recording. We want them to do some voice recordings. You could even put in a subtitle. And then you can see what it would look like. It's already changing. Now, I don't really like this picture. I want a different picture there. So I go over to what looks like a little landscape, and I click the picture, and I can upload one. So maybe you have a picture of your classroom or of your community or of an event, and you can actually upload it and use your own photo. But I don't have my own photo. So what kind of photo do we want to look for? Any ideas? You can just unmute and yell me out an idea of what we might want to use as an image. Oh, I saw somebody talking. Oh, Daisy, you're on mute. Oh, I think you're still on mute, but I think I was reading your lips. Animals? Okay. Normally I'm terrible at reading lips. I can't believe it worked out. So you'll notice I just went here under stock and searched for animals. And it's going to come up with all these adorable animals. Anything from real animals to cartoon animals. And clearly I would like these 2 nuzzling cows, or maybe, I don't know, I can't resist the dog with some glasses. So I pick him, and I just drag him over to my slide, and all of a sudden, now my image is a dog wearing glasses. Now that has nothing to do with my assignment is, so I probably would not leave that, but you see, you can just find all these different options and use it. Now you'll notice some of them have this little play button on it. That's because it's not just a picture, it's a video. So what if I drag over a video? It's going to play that video. And you can see in the preview what that's going to look like. So if I'm happy with that, I like that image, I like what it has, I didn't want any narration, then I move on to the next thing. Now let's look at what it looks like to do the narration. So if I decide the second slide, I need some narration. I need to tell them some things in my own voice, not just on the slide. You click and hold to record. So I'm going to click it, and I'm not going to unclick it until I'm done, okay? So now I'm recording, and you can see it says recording. It's telling me how many seconds I'm recording for. And then when I let my mouse up, I've got my recording. And I can play it and decide if I sound crazy and need to play it again. I may need to record it again. We don't always get it on our first try. So now I'm recording, and you can see it says recording. It's telling me how many seconds I'm recording. Now, did you notice when it played my narration, you not only heard what I had done as a narration, but you could hear the background music.
Yes.
So you can see how the two are going to play together. So you can test out all of that. Now, the other thing is we have this template, but what if you want to add something to it outside of one of these? This isn't enough. You need another chunk. Up at the top right, you'll see it says add a block. So you'll click add a block, and then you pick. And if any of you ever used Tumblr, that used to be popular a while back, but I thought it was kind of nifty. This is very much like Tumblr. You pick, do you want to do a photo, a video, a collage of photos? Do you primarily just want text on there? Do you want to do a quote? Maybe a school logo or a program logo, or a photo burst where it's going to go through a couple of photos in a row. So let's say I want to do a video. So I go down and it's going to automatically be ready for my video. Now what I'll need to do though is then click that little picture and upload whatever video. So maybe I did a video that I recorded in Screencastify, and now I want to add it into my larger video here. You can just upload it right from your computer. Now, the final two things I want to show you in here is, what if I decide I don't need this slide. It doesn't help my flow. Go over to the trash can, hit trash can, and delete, and it's gone. It's out of there. Easy enough. The other thing in here, that one with the two little squares, did you notice what happened? It made me another slide exactly like it. So if you want to duplicate it, that's what you do. So it's trash can, get rid of the slide, squares, duplicate the slide. And then I could always go over and edit it. Now, I want to make sure you saw how that happened. I've got my little slides, and I can make a lot of changes right here in my little slides, but sometimes I'm working on my laptop, things are small. So if I just go to the center and click in the middle, it gets big. So if you're making a lot of changes, or if you just want to make it a little easier, just click in the middle and it makes it big. And you'll notice I've got all the same options I had before. I can upload, I can trash it, I can change the scale. That's really for that background photo. You can rotate, do all kinds of things. I can change the color of my slide. So if I want to change anything. So you can do all of those things and then hit the close. And it takes you right back. So it's all within each of these. Now, what about if you want it to be in a different order? You decide, oh, actually step 5 should become step 3. Click and just drag it up to where you want it, and it goes. So they've really tried to make it as user-friendly as possible, where you don't have to open a bunch of separate menus. You can just kind of move things where they need to go and make them do what you want. Now, the one other thing that I want to show you in this area is, okay, I've got all this, but I'm not loving that song. I'd like to use different music or my own music. Go to the far left. You've got all these options here. And we're going to go to music. And you'll see I'm currently using some kind of music called Just Getting Started. But I can change that. And I can go through and pick from the different ones that are available. You can try out all these different songs, whatever might work for you. Or I'm going to go back into music. Like I said, I might have my own song that I think is going to work better. There we go. And so instead I hit change and upload. And then I can upload whatever song might be useful. Okay. So that's how you're going to change the music, the background music. You can also trim the song and do, volume. sometimes the volume is too loud, particularly if you're talking. You may want to cut that volume of the music really low. Or if your song's really short and your video is really long, you can pick loop and it'll keep going with your song over and over. So some good options there. Now, once I'm done, I can hit preview and it'll put together what in the world my video is going to look like. So I can see before going all the trouble of saving and downloading it. I can try out my video right here. We're just going to play that second. So if I decide, you know what, that looks pretty fabulous, I think I'm ready, then I can just hit produce. Oh, I haven't saved everything. So it has noticed that I have not changed everything, so it's not going to let me save it yet because I've got all this stuff. So we'll, just for the sake of showing you how that works, I'll just delete all the stuff that we haven't updated yet because we're not making a full video here today. So it does have some safeguards in there to help you from accidentally doing something wacky. All right, so let's try this again. We're going to produce it. It's going to ask for a title. It's going to ask you for the date. We recorded it today. The producer, that'd be me. You can put in a little description, and then you finish it up. Once you do that, it's putting it all together into a nice downloadable video. You'll see it's working on it. And when it's done and ready, this teal download button will brighten up. It'll go from kind of that shady color to the bright color like you see here. And at that point, I can either download it or share it. Okay, so I can share it to Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. I can share via email, Twitter, all kinds of different ways. Or notice it's bright now. Now I can download it. And you can see at the bottom of my internet window, it's now downloaded my video. And you're all ready to go. Now the other option, and we won't go through the full thing because it really works the same after the first few steps, is if you're at Create and you don't see a template you really like, nothing's really standing out for you, the top right says Start from Scratch. If you click on Start from Scratch, you'll just choose a video style. When you're choosing a video style, all you're really choosing are colors and fonts. And even all of those can be changed. And again, if you hover over it, it's going to give you kind of a preview of what that style kind of looks like as far as the various fonts and colors. And so if you decide, ooh, I like this high glamour look, I think that would look nice for my video, you just select it. It's going to again have you look at it and decide, do you want landscape, which is great for websites, widescreens, YouTube, or regular square. Square's better for things like Facebook and Instagram. So if you're going to post this on your Facebook page, maybe for students and families to see, go with the square. It's going to show up better. If you're going to put it in like a PowerPoint, show it on Zoom, put it on your school website, go with landscape. That's going to show up better. So that's kind of your options there. And then you just say, yeah, choose that style. That's what I want. And you'll see, just like when we did a template, it's going to get everything ready for you. The big difference being, you know, with the template, we had all those sample slides that we could just make tweaks to. With a template, when you go to add a block, you pick from those same options, and then it just builds from there. So it doesn't start you out with existing things. It starts you out by you adding blocks one at a time. But you can put all those together to make the exact same kind of video that you just saw. And you notice in the example video, she definitely had some stock images that she had gotten from Animoto. And then she had some images that she had used from her actual classroom. So you can even use a combo of both depending upon what you're doing. Any questions about Animoto? All right. I'll show you one last thing in regards to Animoto as far as things that can help you. They do have a page full of things for teachers. And in particular, they have this video lesson plans and lesson ideas that I think is really helpful for getting ideas, because when you scroll down, you can see examples of how to make a video for vocabulary or for the start of the school year or to do a book trailer. And it just has all kinds of different options. And you can go through and see example videos that always kind of help me when I'm trying to be creative and come up with my own video content. So definitely check out their educator site, because it does. It has good tips and it has good examples that you can use for your own videos. All right. Now be thinking if you have any more questions, because we'll have some time for questions. But we're going to go into some of our wrap-up material to just keep learning something new. And that's what we're going to keep doing through these group coaching sessions, is just little by little learning some new tips, some new techniques, and some new tools that you can utilize with your students, your families, and your staff. So as we head into July, we'll be doing 2 more sessions, and I would love your feedback on our session dates. So we can either do July 9th and 23rd or July 23rd and 30th. Now those are still Thursdays. We'll still do them late in the day Eastern time. So, you know, the same time that we're doing them now. But which of these date options work best? And I'm gonna put up a poll to make it super easy for you to help me figure out which dates are easiest. So you should have the poll showing up on your screen. And just let me know. And if they both work for you, you can pick both of them. That's fine. Because I know for some of you, you may say, all of those work. That's fine. Just pick both. But if only one is better than the other, just pick that one. And it'll help us kind of funnel down to the best dates for our July group coaching sessions. And as you're doing that, I'll kind of give you a preview. As we head into July, first of all, if there are any things in particular that you want to make sure we cover in July, let me know. You can let me know today. You can shoot me an email, call me. But we're open to changing up and customizing. But in general, our focus for July are on some things that you can do with your students. So some interactive things that you can incorporate. So we'll be looking at some fun, interactive, engaging activities that you can start building and creating in our 2 July sessions. So right now it's looking pretty even, but July 23rd and 30th are kind of winning. So I'm going to go ahead and end that one. I think most everybody has voted. So thank you for that. And then I'm going to do one final poll, and then we'll work on questions. So I'm going to stop share before we actually do that poll so we can see each other. If you have questions, either open up the chat box and put them in the chat box, or unmute and just ask. And I'm going to put up our final poll, which is, was this webinar beneficial for you and or your program? That's always our final wrap-up poll. Now I see over in the chat box, the 2 questions we have so far, will these videos be shared? Yes, in 2 different ways. So one, we record this entire session and we will share the link to the full session. You can then watch it at your leisure, share it with your colleagues that might not have been able to join us today. And then secondly is I can also share just those separate videos, and I'll give you the links to those too, so that if you want to just watch the one on like Zoom or just the one on Screencastify, you can do that as well. Now, the next question is Animoto free? Yes, it is free. Now, again, like with most products, they do have a paid option as well that just gets you some additional features like taking the watermark off the video. but I think you'll find most things that you want or need, you can do with that free account. So I think you'll have no problem just using the features there. But that is one of those things to think about with any of these products, that, you know, if the paid account is going to bring significant value to what you're creating for your classroom, then you may want to talk to your program director and see if that's something that's within your supply budget. Most of them work off an annual thing and are fairly affordable. So that's something you could definitely discuss with your program director if there's something in that upgraded account that would be particularly beneficial for you. And then, good question, how long will these products be free? All the ones I'm featuring are ones that are always free. They're not just COVID free. You know, a lot of products made things free just because of the pandemic and so many people moving to distance learning. All of the ones that we're sharing are ones that are always free for educators. And so you don't have to worry about, you know, I start learning how to use it and then all of a sudden now I have to upgrade if I want to keep doing it, because they're no longer doing their special free accounts. The only thing that we featured today that will change is, you know, Zoom is doing no time limits for teachers right now. And I know at some point they'll go back to that 45-minute limit. But other than that, everything should remain just as is with each of these programs. All right, I'm going to end our poll because I think everybody has had an opportunity to vote there. Not seeing any other questions. I will send out tomorrow the recording for today. And then also the link to where you can find all of our past sessions, because that's one nice thing that you may have some time for this summer, is if you want to go back and view any of these past group coaching sessions or any of the longer webinars that we do during the school year. All of those are recorded and available for you, so you can watch them. I call it Netflix style, because you can just watch them at your leisure, get out your popcorn, and do a little professional development easily at home. All right, so as we wrap up, the last thing I'll remind you of is I'll send out dates tomorrow, the calendar invites tomorrow for our July sessions. But again, if there are any things, any particular products or any types of activities that you hope we include in July, let me know. Some have already reached out with some requests. And as you're doing these, you're starting to try out these products, or you're starting to try out making videos, if you run into hiccups or you have questions, feel free to reach out. I'm happy to help. And I encourage all of you, as your unofficial homework, because we don't have official homework on these, but as part of your unofficial homework, try making at least one video. Use any of the 4 tools that we talked about today, but try making one video and then share it with me. I promise not to put it out on the internet for everybody and the brother to see, but you can send it via email, you can put it on Google Drive, but try making one video and share it with me. And I think